So I want to talk a little bit about how I've said that Lamine Yamal has already peaked. And a lot of people have asked me why, which is a fair question. So I want to go through it a little bit. So firstly, people make it seem like he's going to make huge physical strides as he grows older, right? As he ages, they think he's going to get so much stronger, so much faster. That doesn't make sense. So firstly, when a player is a teenager, they've often peaked in terms of their agility and their speed. And as they get older, it is true, they grow into their bodies, they get stronger, but Lamine Yamal's physical transformation has been accelerated by the fact that he's played over 100 games at the age of 17 already. A huge part of physical development is playing lots of games, which most players do not experience until they're 22 or 23 years old. And Lamine has already gone through that big physical transformation throughout the past year. His build has clearly gotten stronger, and he's gotten slightly quicker. People make it seem like he's gotten a lot faster. He's not gotten a lot faster. He's slightly faster. From here on out, he's going to make some physical developments, but it's not going to be that noticeable. And in a lot of cases, if he wants to improve on one aspect, he has to sacrifice other aspects of his game. So for example, let's say he wants to get stronger. He builds up. If he builds up and gets a bigger muscle frame, he's going to have to sacrifice some of his agility. So that's number one. I don't think that he's going to undergo a huge physical transformation as he gets older. I feel like he's already gone through his biggest physical transformation. Number two, a huge part about players improving is that they start making better decisions. A lot of players don't have adequate decision making until maybe the age of 22, 23. However, Lamine Yamal already has amazing decision making. He is literally constantly being praised for being very mature, for playing far beyond his years. He already has the decision making of a 28-year-old. Sure, he can improve it in bits and pieces, but he's not going to make huge transformations at this point. There's a plateau for how good someone's decision making can be. He is extremely close to his plateau. He's not suddenly going to have way better decision making down the line. His decision making is already at the very top tier. Number three, his game is already extremely refined. A lot of players look extremely raw, but in his case, his game is extremely refined. Like his dribbling, his passing, he has every trick in the bag right now. And then finally, let's talk about his goal scoring. A lot of people have this misconception that his finishing is terrible, and that's why he can't score a lot of goals. I strongly disagree. I think that the reason he's a trash scorer isn't that his finishing is bad, or at least not how people think of finishing, right? Because if you're looking at finishing, you have to split into several aspects. There are different kinds of finishing, and in certain aspects of finishing, Lamine's finishing is extremely good. So his finishing on the dribble, or his finishing when he has time to aim the shot, is easily elite. I think it's all-timer level, but it's at least elite. He's at the very top level when it comes to these two types of finishing. So for example, his goal the other night against Espanyol on the dribble, he's really good at those sort of finishes when he's taking a shot on the dribble. Or his goal against Real Madrid in the previous El Clasico, when he had 3 to 5 seconds to aim the ball. He's really good at those sort of finishes. But his first time finishing, so if he receives a quick cross inside the box, he's not very good at it. But that's very hard to develop. On top of that, he's very bad at getting himself into goal-scoring positions. He's not a good runner. His off-the-ball movement is, frankly speaking, very poor. And he doesn't have the physical strength, the hold-up play to stay in the box. You need either one of those two things to generate good scoring threat. And these are things that usually aren't easily improved on. He's a ball-to-feet winger. It's highly unlikely that he'll improve significantly in either of these aspects, and he simply doesn't have the physical attributes for it. His lateral movement, his vertical movement, it's just not good. And yes, these things typically don't get improved by that much. Most players with great off-the-ball movement, they had very good raw off-the-ball movement skill set as teenagers. You look at Cristiano Ronaldo as a 17-year-old. His off-the-ball movement was pretty good actually. He simply didn't know what to do. His decision-making was poor. But his raw off-the-ball movement, his lateral movement, his vertical movement, his speed, they are already there. He simply needed to learn how to utilize it. And also, it is not that uncommon for players to peak as teenagers. If you're a very precocious talent and you have tons of playing time, it's very normal for such players to peak as teenagers. And Lamine certainly fits under that attribute. For example, Pele, Mbappe, both of them reached something resembling their peak levels when they were teenagers already. The difference is Mbappe and Pele were already playing at a GOAT level. So even though they didn't improve that significantly afterwards, they were already at GOAT level. Lamine Yamal is a trash scorer. I don't think he's going to improve by much. And if he doesn't improve by much, he's just going to be this same mediocre talent for the rest of his career. And obviously, compared to the average player, he's still pretty good. But he will never be in contention for the best player in the world. A player with his trash scoring ability will never be at that level. So this is the day after recording, and I just thought of another point, so I felt like adding it to the video. So this is the final point I'll be making. So typically, when a player makes a big jump in ability, that big jump is fairly evenly proportioned out among their potential skill sets. So let's say they have a huge potential for dribbling. They have a huge potential for playmaking. They have a huge potential for off-the-ball movement. They have a huge potential for goal scoring. But they don't have a huge potential for, let's say aerial duels, right? Then when they make that huge jump in ability, it will get fairly evenly proportioned out to their strengths or their potential strengths. But the thing is, in Lamine's case, he has already undergone a huge jump in ability in the past year. Yet, his goal scoring has barely improved. His goal scoring has remained absolutely trash. I think he has like 8 goals in 33 La Liga games for a team that's like creating an abnormal number of chances every game, that's scoring like 3 goals per game, and he is taking 4 shots per game. He's taking more shots per game than Haaland, than Salah, than Lewandowski, than Harry Kane. Yet his goal scoring has just remained trash. His dribbling and his playmaking have improved in leaps and bounds, but his goal scoring have barely improved. And I believe that this is a very, very, very strong indicator that his goal scoring is extremely limited and will always be extremely limited. I think this is a very strong indicator that he will never improve his goal scoring by much, that he will remain a trash scorer for the rest of his career. So you look at other players that were great scorers, and you look at what happened when they made huge jumps in ability. So if you look at Ronaldo in the 06-07 season, when he made a huge jump in ability, his goal scoring also went up by a lot. You look at Mbappe in the 16-17 season when he was 18, and he got a huge jump in ability. His goal scoring went up by leaps and bounds. I struggle to think of a single player who ended up being a good goal scorer whose goal scoring did not improve massively when they went through a huge jump in ability. Lamine has already gone through that huge jump in ability, yet his goal scoring has barely improved. I think this is a huge, huge indicator that he will remain a trash scorer for the rest of his career. And a trash scorer should never, never, never be in contention for being the best player in the world, because goal scoring is by far the most important thing in football. Nothing else comes close.